Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final round of the Season 1 2021 of the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippys, live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the Calm Zone, the campaign against living miserably. Tonight we are racing for 17 laps around the streets of Long Beach in California of the United States of America, and even though the championship is already wrapped up, we're in for another smashing race here today. I think both in excitement and quite literally, because these walls are very, very treacherous. Championship standings as we run going into this round. Benny Simonsen leading the way, 359 points ahead of Lee Hughes at 311 and Simon Edwards at 287. And with 2 drop weeks being counted into that, those 3 positions are wrapped up. So we will once again congratulate Benny Simonsen on a magnificent championship. His worst result so far this season is a 4th place finish. Other than that, he's only got podium positions, Ryan, and that is well worthy of a championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben Simonsen pretty much doing what he had to do during the season, putting in brilliant performances and, like you say, finish on the podium most of the time. He's not won every race, but he's finished on the podium, and that's the sort of form you need, like you say, to win a championship in this league.
It definitely is. We're currently underway with qualifying here. Still got about a minute and a half to go until we throw that checkered flag, so say 3 minutes left as we have a little track map for you here. It's a little bit of a tricky situation going around this track, but there's some tight and twisted turns, starting with the Toyota left-hander, then coming around the fountain up into West Shoreline Drive, and then a quick left-hander up into Pine Avenue, and then right-hander onto Seaside Way, a long straightaway, and then a tight right-hander Firestone turn in the left, leading into that super narrow hairpin leading on to Shoreline Drive again to bring us home to the finish line around the Bridgestone. So as you can see here as we go on board, they can go really high on a couple of these curbs. We're currently on board here with Simon Edwards, who is currently in Benny Simonsen, that is actually, who's currently leading the way in this qualifying session as well by about 2/10 ahead of Nicholas von Roberts. And Sam T. Spinell is currently in 6th place here in qualifying, doing a really good job. See if he can hold on to that, but drivers currently now out on their final laps here as we are about to wrap things up. But Benny Simonsen, what a way as well to finish the season out by qualifying on pole position. If he could win this race, that would be just outstanding. See where we go with that. But Ryan, you've turned some laps around this track this week leading into this race, so talk us a little bit about how it is to drive around here.
Oh, it's a fantastic track, and it's really great fun, especially with the Skip Barber. But it's one of those tracks, especially a street track, that you can't really afford to make any mistakes because the walls are so close. And if you make any mistakes, then your race around here can pretty much be over. But you've got tricky corners like turn 9 and then turn 10, turn 11, and that tricky final hairpin where it's so difficult to get the car around, and it's also one of those corners that you have to use a bit of throttle to get the rear end to rotate. So it's some tricky corners around this place, and I think the drivers are going to have to be very much on their toes.
They definitely are, as we see drivers coming across the line here to complete their qualifying laps. We saw Brown there in 5th at the moment, Miles in 6th. Here is Miles in P11. He will, that's Nathan Wade as well, coming across here up to 10th position. So good job from him. See if there are any more cars on the track. Andrew Baranowski coming around here, I think, yeah, straight across the line here. So where he will go, he's in 22nd, and he will not be improving. So he's going to stay right there, and I believe that was the last car to cross the start-finish line. So as I cannot find anybody out on the track, so let's go through the starting grid here at Long Beach. Benny Simonsen on pole position with a 1:30.850, just under 2/10 ahead of Lee Hughes in 2nd, with Nicholas von Roberts in 3rd and Simon Edwards in 4th position. Seth Brown in 5th, Adam Miles in 6th, Sam T. Spinell in 7th, Daniel Tufts in 8th, Anthony Catt in 9th, and Nathan Wade rounding out the top 10, with Christopher Miles in 11th, George Mattock in 12th, Clark Williams in 13th, Dave Kirkman in 14th, Christian Prosser in 15th, Kevin Budge in 16th, Neil McGinty in 17th, Ray Peasley in 18th, Dave Dowson in 19th, Tony Stack in 20th. The rest of the grid is up on your screen, and Will Redford just managed to make the race here. He will not have a qualifying time, nor will he have any practice in this session, but I'm sure he will have been practicing throughout the week, so I'm not too sure he will have too much of a problem, but he will start back in 26th position. So it'll be interesting to see how far he can get up the grid here, if he can get in on time to make the race, but I think he will. So that will be one to definitely look out for as the drivers are taking to the grid here. This broadcast, as well as always, in support of the Calm Zone campaign against living miserably, a leading movement against suicide. Every week 125 people in the UK alone take their own lives. 75% of those are male, and Calm exists to change that. So go to www.thecalmzone.net and join the campaign and take a stand against suicide today. Now it's time to race Long Beach, California. Here cars are currently taking the grid. 31 cars have registered for the race today. Only 25 managed to set a time though, so that just goes to show how tricky it is to get around here without getting contact with the wall or another car. And coming around into that first left-hand braking zone and then around the fountain, when you're in the middle of a pack here, that will definitely not be easy, but these guys usually do a pretty good job of that, so we'll have to see what happens there. Still a few cars left here to grid though. You can see the grid stretching all the way back towards that final corner. Not as many cars as we usually have, but still 31 around here, Ryan. That's still quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a good turnout for the final round of the season, and not as much as we've had before in previous races, but still a good turnout nevertheless, and as all the cars are lined up on the ground and we're ready to go.
We are, engines are revving, lights are out, and Simon Edwards had a little bit of a jump start there. I think he rolled forward slightly before the green flag came out. We'll see if that will end up in a penalty, but he's going to lose 2-3 positions here coming around the first little right hand kink. That's going to be in 4 positions. They're side by side for the lead here. Benny Simonson on the outside, Lee Hughes looking to the inside, and Lee Hughes is going to be in the lead, and they're going to be 2 and 3 wide all the way back through the field here. See if they can all get through here safely. Got a couple of cars in the wall. Simon Edwards collects the wall gear, gets slightly tapped from behind by Daniel Tufts, but other than that I think everyone gets through here around the fountain as well. Now keeping on going here, Lee Hughes has gotten up to the lead. Benny Simonson in second, Von Roberts in third, and here we have a couple of cars stopping. I believe that's Will Redford, who was in a bit of an incident there at the fountain, so he will be out of this race. And Clark Williams goes around as well here, coming onto the first little straightaway, and he is just sitting there waiting for something to happen. There we go, everybody's through, so now he gets going. We had Aaron D. Taylor there as well, had his wing scraping the floor, throwing up some sparks, but at the front, Lee Hughes has taken command of this race, and that is one of the craziest starts I think we've ever seen here. 2 and 3 wide going into turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like some people have had some incidents, and maybe some drivers being caught out by the cold tyres, but also Long Beach as well. It's so easy. Someone's in the wall in the background. That was Andrew Baranowski, I think.
Let's see if we can get a picture of that. That's Adam Miles who's been in the wall.
Sorry.
He's still going. They're going to lose a few positions there, but it looks like he's not got too much drive in that car. You can see smoke as Simon Edwards drops into pit lane there to serve his penalty, and there's another crash at the back there. There's a massive stack up here in the hairpin. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars I count here. Patterson is in that, Dowson, McDougall, McGinty is through, Clapham is through, Clark Williams is there as well. That is a massive pile up in there. I'm not really sure how many got through that unscathed, but everybody's back going again. Dowson, Andrews, Taylor is in the pits, Tony Stack is in the pits, Edward Lack as well. So a lot of cars in incidents here on the first lap, but it is Benny Simonson back in the lead here at the front. Lee Hughes got a bit of a fishtail there, gonna keep it out of Waldo, I think, as is Benny Simonson, well sideways there as well, coming down the straightaway here again. Nicholas Von Roberts keeping up back there in third, but these three have definitely broken away. Then the second group is Seth Brown, Sam T. Spinell and Anthony Capp for third, fourth, and fourth, fifth and sixth, sorry. And then another big gap down to 7th place of Christopher Miles. But these three guys, looks like it'll be the three battling for the podium here today. That's, yeah. We have a replay.
As they look at the replay now, and they all come into the hairpin, and Tony Stack unfortunately was the innocent victim in that. He just got tagged round, and he had to stay still, and everyone had nowhere to go either. So it's just one of those things with the hairpin at Long Beach that it's just a tight corner, and there's not really anywhere to go for these drivers. But back up at the front, the battle for 4th place is still going on between Brown, Cat, and Spinell, and at the moment they're slowly falling back from this lead pack, but it looks like someone has dived into the pits.
That would be Daniel Tufts. He is into the pits. Not sure if that is a penalty or if that is damage, but he were involved in some incidents. See here what will happen. He's going through the pit lane, driving by, I believe that was Seymour Harding parked there from the previous lap, and he is going to stop in his pit stall. So he has hit the wall, damaged that suspension. That's going to drop him well down the order, straight back into the spare car. But here we have Anthony Catt going at it with Sam Spinell for 4th position. I'm not really sure if he managed to avoid the wall there. They are so close to these walls all the way around the track, and this is certainly something I wouldn't do, which is why I'm in the commentating booth here today and not on the track. But Spinell actually able to pull away slightly here from Anthony Catt, so an impressive performance so far by him. And Seth Brown struggling to keep up back there as well, but maybe give it a couple of laps, get some heat in those tires, and he might be able to catch back up. We'll just have to wait and see. Here comes Catt, sorry, again. Now as Spinell gets in the wall, that was quite a hard hit actually. Not sure if that will damage his suspension or if he's going to get away with that, but it's definitely not going to help him, as Catt almost checked up a little bit, which let Brown catch back up here with the draft as we come into the final couple of corners once again.
Yep, and in the background as well, George Mattock is starting to catch his pack up as well in the battle for 4th place. So George Mattock is slowly reeling these guys in, and as you can see there, the turning radius is just so tight, and you're basically having to put full lock on. But as the Spinell, Catt, and Brown come across the line now, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if Spinell's got some suspension damage, but at the moment these guys are heading down to turn 1, which is Aquarium Way, and through that tight twisty fountain section. But at the moment it's still Leo Hughes is currently leading from Benny Simonson.
These guys are going at it all the way around this track, and Catt is just looking for an opening anywhere he can find it, but you basically need the car in front of you to make a mistake or get a good run out of a corner onto one of the longer straightaways here. So I believe the run down Seaside way down to Firestone turn at the end of the lap is probably the best opportunity, as Catt gets a little bit of a wall grab there as well. Or once again, as George Mattock is now closed into these guys, he is within a second now of Seth Brown. You can see it here visually, how the gap has come down, and if they go side by side through one corner, George Mattock is going to be in this battle within seconds. So see what he can do here, well over the curb there on the entry, but you're allowed to do that in these cars, so see what he can do coming down the straight. He's not going to get a lot of draft here as the guys ahead are, but here comes Catt. He's going to pass Spinell easily. Spinell actually have no speed at all, so Brown has a look as well, but he's going to back out. Spinell sideways now through Firestone turn down to in the left and then into the hairpin. And now George Mattock is right on the back of these guys. One little lift was all it took. And meanwhile the leaders are driving away, so we make contact here. Brown is going to turn around, Spinell, and everybody's going to stack up. Now no one's going to have a way through. I wonder what's going to happen here. Cars just keeps piling on in. Wade is there, Brown is there, Kirkman. Now everybody's just going to have to stop, or these guys are going to have to get moving. I'm not really sure what they're going to do here, but the track is blocked.
Yeah, it is.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore, but yeah, it was pretty much blocked. No one had anywhere to go, but it was so unfortunate for George Mattock. He just had nowhere to go, but he got caught up in that incident. But everyone's managed to get going again. But I think that's pretty much hampered everyone else's races. It looks like, is that Nathan Wade with a front wheel missing? Yes, it is.
It is. He must have clipped the wall, and sparks flying everywhere as you saw that left front wheel rolling away. He's struggling to control the car here. Going to try and make it into the pits, but he's got a whole lap to go if he's going to get there. It's not going to turn much to the left. He's going to plow the wall. Here comes the car behind. That's Baranowski makes his way through up into 12th place now as Wade pulls over. Smart thing to do, as we have Seth Brown here, a replay of him. He just peeks up the inside of Spinell, turns him around, and then the cars behind just keeps piling on in. 17 there, and a couple more cars. That's Mattock, and then the 11 of Posser comes in there. Another car, I'm not really sure who that was, and then they just start towing their way out of there. Baranowski came through just at the right time as they opened up, so he gained a few positions, but that is not a place where you want to poke your nose up the inside, because it's hard enough to go single file for there, but to try and poke your nose up the inside is always going to end in disaster.
It is, and unfortunately Seth Brown found it out, and it's not really a corner that you can make a move on. It's pretty much a one-line corner. and unfortunately Brown tried to make a move and it went horribly wrong. But back up at the front, Benny Simonson is still under attack, or making a move even on Leo Hughes into turn 1. Can Von Roberts try and make a move as well? No, he can't.
The gap from these guys back to Anthony Cat now, who's alone in fourth, is 3.5 seconds. Well, just coming down now to almost 3 seconds, so they can't afford to battle. We're only on lap 6 so far as well, and we've already had a race full of incidents so far, so not a whole lot of cars still running here in Big Pat. So Anthony Cat sitting on his own. Maybe these guys battling up at the front will help him, as we see Neil McGinty here surrendering a position to Clark Williams. That's for P number 12. Andrew Baranowski just ahead there in 11th. And this is one of the very few battles we still have going on, so if Williams can catch back up to Baranowski, at least we will have a 3-car battle here. Then Peter Cohen and John Edwards just ahead, battling for 9th and 10th as they come back onto Seaside straight here and see what will happen. No, that's actually the straight before that. Still spreading out a little bit here, but if you can catch back up to each other, I think this will be the biggest group that we have, because Peasley, Kirkman, Budge and Cowan ahead. They are 4 cars, but they're not really close to each other as such, so we have the lead trio and then this trio, and then that's about it. As I say that, here comes Budgeon making a move on Kirkman, and he is going to get that position easily coming down into Firestone turn. So at least we have a pair of cars here battling. Now maybe that'll let Cohen catch back up to them as well, but ahead of him Ray Peasley has pretty much driven off by about a second. As we have another contact, Kirkman into the back of Budgeon. He's going to keep on going, but Budgeon is going to be around the wrong way, and he's going to put it in reverse, trying to get it turned around here. Now Baranowski, Williams, McGinty comes through as Budgeon gets going again, but that's going to drop him down into 13th place. And once again, you do not want to make a move into that corner, but for some reason the drivers insist on doing it time and time again.
I think some of the moves is not trying to make a move, or it's not intentional. I think some drivers just been caught out by the other driver in front of them being really slow in the middle of the corner, just because it's the tight nature of that hairpin that you're basically just going really slow, and unfortunately Budgeon just got tagged around.
Quick thinking there by him though to get that going, as we follow Baranowski here in this battle, which is now for the bottom end of the top 10 with Clark Williams and Neil McGinty in front and behind him. So this is one that we will have to follow throughout this race. See if Baranowski now can get a run here out of this left and right hander combo onto the straightaway, and possibly get a run on Clark Williams to get that position back. Just ahead of him as well is Cowan, Edwards and Kirkman now battling for 7th with that incident having happened. Now let's see what they can do. This is one tricky corner as we move on board with that other group. John Edwards right at the back of Peter Cohen. He's not going to make a move into Firestone, is he? He's going to have a late look. He's going to be a brave one. Cohen is going to be the smarter man though and back out of it and give that position up. If you run too wide through there, you're going to be in big trouble as well. And Cohen know that and backed out of it, so going to give that up to John Edwards. Kirkman behind is struggling to keep up as well, as Cohen goes a little bit wide there. Going to try and get a little bit of a run here as we come down Shoreline Drive across the start finish line and into Bridgestone, which is the first little right hand kink that will come through here just after the start finish line. At the front it's still Simonson, Hughes and Roberts pulling away, and then 3 cars all by themselves, and then Edwards and Cohen now side by side again for 7th. Cohen wants that position right back, left-hander coming up, and he is going to be clear before the braking zone to get that position right back. Now they've opened up a bit of a gap to Kirkman, and Kirkman has been caught by Williams, Baranowski and McGinty, so it's another 4-car battle back there for 9th back down to 12th.
Yep, and apart from that, the field's pretty much spread out at the moment, but this is the closest battle on track, with the battle for the final position in the top 10 as well, closely just behind as well. And it's been a good recovery from Clark Williams, considering he was sideways on the track at the start of the race. He's managed to drag himself back up into 10th, or basically close to the top 10 at the moment anyway, as we ride on board with Clark. And at the moment, yeah, Clark's always been one of those drivers, for always he gets so close to the tyres on the wall on the exit, he's always been one of those thinking drivers that he won't do anything silly, he'll be safe and plan his moves and do it sensibly. As at the moment, it looks like he's trying to make a move on Kirkman, heading down to the final few corners as he's going to try and go the outside. It's a bit brave, but I think his best opportunity is on the home straight.
Backed out of it smartly there. I believe that's the leaders we see in the bottom right hand corner there coming around the fountain already. They've had a very fast race here. They pulled away a second and a half more from Cat as well in 4th, so These guys, they're still battling, but they are pulling away. Simpson leading from Hughes and Roberts, but here we go. The battle for P9 is on again. Clark Williams just gets clear of Kirkman as Baranowski is making a move here. He's going to be up the inside coming into the next corner, and he is almost clear coming into the braking zone. Here's McGinty as well having a look, but he backs out smartly. You do not want to be side by side through many of these corners. So back to single file again as Clark Williams is now leading the way of this third group, I believe we can call it, racing from 9th. Back down to 13th as Adam Miles is starting to close back in as well. So it's about to turn into a 5-car battle.
Absolutely, as they looking back at Kirkman at the moment as well, and missing a bit of his front nose, so it looks like he's had contact with another car, or yeah, might have lost it in that incident a few laps ago. But at the moment, this is the closest battle on track at the moment, apart from the one up at the front between Simonson, Hughes and Roberts, and as they head onto the back straight now, heading down to the final couple of corners, and yeah, just ahead as well. It looks like they're closing in on this battle in front of them with Ray Peasley. Looks like he's making a move, or I think Ray Peasley has lost his front nose actually.
Ray Peasley has had some sort of an incident dropping down the order. He's definitely going to go into pits as we see Lee Hughes here retaking the lead from Benny Simonson. Nicholas Von Roberts sitting back there in 3rd position, doing everything he can to keep with these guys, possibly make a move and get into that lead eventually. But if he could end the season with a win, imagine the confidence and momentum that would give him coming into next season, as we see Ray Peasley here on pit road to get that spare car out. Not really sure what happened to him, but that will promote all those other guys battling around the bottom end of the top 10 1 position. Means Niall McGinty is now in P10. Clark Williams and Baranowski ahead is pulling away now in 8th and 9th, so it's more and more cars in the top 10 back here in these packs, and soon there won't be any cars left up in the top 5 without damage.
Yeah, it's been a pretty much an attrition race so far. I'm quite surprised that so many people are having issues around here. I don't know if it's I thought Kirkman was going to clip the wall there, but manages just to keep it out.
And making another move here is a brave one coming in to the next corner. Here is Miles and McGinty. McGinty goes super wide to give him all the space he needs. Kirkman comes through as well as McGinty looks back up the inside here for the next right-hander coming onto Seaside Way, and that is going to hurt their momentum, especially McGinty's momentum coming onto the straightaway. And look at the gap Miles got right away because they went side by side through there. McGinty is going to get the position though, back up into 11th, but Miles has pulled away now with 10th place, so these guys have to work together if they want to get in the top 10, as all the cars ahead are driving away. Clark Williams and Baranowski currently in a pair for 8th, Cohen and Edwards in a pair battling for P6, then Spinell in 5th by himself, Cat by himself for 4th, and then there's a trio battling for the lead, so pretty much no groups, only a bunch of pairs. We have Edwards now looking to the outside, coming around the Bridgestone kink here, coming down towards the first braking zone. He is going to be past Peter Cohen up into 6th place, and Cohen backs up well early to give Edwards that position. Just going to have to try and give it back as we're on lap 11 here, coming down to 6 laps to go next time by the start finish line.
Yep, and yeah, looks like soon joining this battle between Edwards and Cowan, it looks like Clark Williams and Andrew Baranowski will be joining these guys as well, so could be on for a 4-car battle as it stands.
Meanwhile, at the front as well, Simonson has taken the lead back from Lee Hughes. Nicholas Von Roberts still sitting there in 3rd, but these guys keep switching as we have another crash. That's number 11, Christian Prosser gets collected by, I believe that was David Clapham. I'm not too sure, we'll have to get a replay up of that, but he got absolutely executed down there. It looked like that would be down into turn number 1 before the fountain. So he's going to have a long way to go around the track, but it does not look like that car is too badly hurt. Get a replay here as that is David Clapham, who looks to the inside coming into the brakes. Oh, he just runs into the back of him, and then as he's sideways he gets collected. Somehow he's able to get that car going again, and Clapham didn't drop down too much. Well, actually he is starting to drop down now. He's all the way down to 18th place, so massive damage to both those cars. As we look back at the leaders here, Simonson, Hughes and Roberts coming up on lap traffic here as Clapham pulls it onto pit road here, I believe, by the end of the lap. Simonson though still leading the way. Here we have another replay. There's actually another incident involving Clapham, so he had 2 incidents on that lap. That time he just got collected from behind as well, so very unfortunate lap for Clapham, who's now down to 23rd.
Yeah, he was pretty much used as a magnet, if you like. But look back up at the front of this battle as well. It's still going on between Simonson, Hughes, and Vaughan Roberts, and it looks like they've got a back marker just up ahead. So this could play a factor as we come to the closing stages of this race, and Ryder on board and Vaughan Roberts heading through the final couple of corners and heading into this tricky hairpin. And it's one of those corners that you've got to get really slowed up, and if you get a good exit, you can get a run on someone. But at the moment, Vaughan Roberts just losing a little bit of touch to Hughes in front of him, who's got the slipstream of Benny Simpson to help out, as it looks like the back marker is going to move out the way before turn 1.
I believe that would be Seth Brown. He qualified 5th here, had an early incident, so he's definitely not a bad driver at all. As they go side by side here for the lead. Lee Hughes up the inside. Here's Vaughan Roberts going to follow. He's not going to back out this time, but he's going to have the outside around the fountain down here. He does back out as it gets too tight, so he's going to stay in 3rd, but he's showing himself, letting them know that he is there. He's definitely not giving up. He's going to do everything he can to get one step more up the podium, or possibly even a win here today. Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, as Lee Hughes is now back in the lead ahead of Benny Simonson. And we've got 5 laps to go of this season now, coming into Ticket turn up onto Pine Avenue on board here with Simonson having a look up the inside of Hughes, and then we've got Vaughan Roberts there dropping back slightly through these corners, and then he comes back towards the end of the lap and down towards that first braking point, down towards Toyota. He's definitely with them as they go side by side now. Vaughan Roberts is going to get all the draft. Simonson is on the inside. He's almost going to be clear of Hughes into the braking zone, but Hughes is going to be super late on the brakes. He's going to get back even with him. Now coming down to the hairpin, who is going to give? Hughes on the outside. Simonson has the inside, but he will back out to let Hughes have the line. Vaughan Roberts goes around the outside, tries to cross over on Benny Simonson, but it's not going to work this time. So coming to 4 laps to go, it's still going to be Hughes leading the way from Simonson and Vaughan Roberts as we have another lap card coming up the track.
Yeah, and that side by side moment with Hughes and Simonson coming through the final couple of corners heading to the hairpin. I thought both of them are going to go side by side into the hairpin as well, and I had to hold my breath because it looks like Vaughan Roberts is trying to get in on the action as well. He's onside there. Hughes, can he get the move done before the fountain section, rather, as I get my word right? No, he can't.
So Baranowski there as well, pulling off to the side of the track for some unknown reason, but he has some severe damage to that car after several incidents in today's race. Unfortunate for him. Still in P14 though, so I think it was just a missed braking point. But these guys who go at it all the way around the track. Edward Lack is the next car to be put a lap down now, just ahead of him. I think he's going to get out of the way though as we get onto Seaside Way. He might even do it here before the corner. He does actually. Very good job there by Lack to let the leaders race, as Vaughan Roberts has a little bit of a contact with the wall there behind Lee Hughes. See if Lee Hughes can get the draft now on Benny Simonson to close up enough. He's not going to be able to do anything into the next corner, but that gap should come down a little bit. Not sure if Vaughan Roberts got any damage from that wall contact either. It wasn't a hard hit, but it could be enough to upset that rear suspension. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. As we have Adam Miles here running into the side of another car, and that's going to send him flipping. I believe that was a lapped car, but Miles is upside down and out of this race.
Oh, it was just unfortunate for Miles. I think he ran wide, and also he didn't have anywhere to go. He just ran wide, clipped the back marker, and over he went, but got big damage as well, and unfortunately he's out. But back up at the front, the top 3 are still really close at the moment, and yeah, it's hard to predict who's going to win this race, but it looks like, I'm just quickly checking all 3 cars at the front. It looks like all 3 of them have lost their nose, so they've had a bit of an eventful race.
That incident there was what caused Baranowski to be parked on the side of the road. But Baranowski is still going, surprisingly. 1 lap down now though, but back here at the front. On lap number 15 now, so about 2.5 laps to go of the season. As we see Baranowski here going around the track. He's finally got the spare car out after all those incidents, so not any damage on that car anymore. As we have both Simonson and Vaughan Roberts clipping the wall there again. It just shows how hard these guys are pushing. The gap down to Cat in 4th is now over 7 seconds and 18 seconds down to 5th. So these guys can go at it as hard as they want as long as they don't hit each other or the walls. Coming into the hairpin now to get onto the straightaway to get the 2 to go signal. It's still Simonson leading the way. Lee Hughes is really close. As Vaughan Roberts gets too tight, he clips the barrier. They're not very hard, but it's going to be enough to lose his momentum coming all the way down the home straight here. Wonder if that is going to be enough to end his chances of winning this race. Now that means that also that Lee Hughes, he can look at Benny Simonson with 100% focus. He does not need to look in his mirrors whatsoever. 2 laps to go. It's Benny Simonson versus Lee Hughes, our first and second place in the championship. But who will win here at Long Beach? It's 2 laps to go.
It's so hard to predict a winner, but I think if Simonson can just stay in front and get a good exit on most of these corners, I think he should be okay. But Lee Hughes won't give up without a fight, as both of them get really close to the wall again, and Nicholas Vaughan Robert gets close again. But I think he's just fallen too far back now to stay within that slipstream range. But at the moment, Simonson under huge pressure from Lee Hughes, and I think if Lee Hughes can get a good run on the exit, or a good run onto this back straight, I think he could use that slipstream to his advantage and try and make a move into the final couple of corners.
Simonson gets such a good exit onto seaside view here that he pulls away just slightly from Lee Hughes. It's enough that Lee Hughes does not get enough draft to make a move here. Coming into the right-hander, Lee Hughes clips the wall there as well as Simonson. He gets really close, but he's not close enough to do anything. Into the hairpin now for the second to last time, and Nicholas Vaughan Roberts is right back there. You can see him spinning his tires coming out of the corner. He is pushing so hard, but he's caught back up to these guys. White flag. 1 more lap to go of this season. What is Lee Hughes going to do? He's going to make his move down here. He's going to wait to the final corners. And what is Vaughan Roberts going to do? Simonson goes defensive here. Here comes Lee Hughes. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go to the outside. Who's going to give? Lee Hughes is actually going to back out. Vaughan Roberts is not going to be close enough to do much into there. As Simonson clips the wall, coming around the fountain now. Which way are they going to go? There are 3 cars under a blanket. It's anybody's race to win at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. As Simonson basically throws the car over those curbs, and again he does it as well. As Lee Hughes gets airborne as well. As that was so close to ending up in disaster for him, but at the moment he's managed to keep the car together and stay in contact with Hughes. But I think Simonson, sorry, but I think Lee Hughes has got to nail this exit onto the back straight. As Lee Hughes, I think I'm not sure what he was doing there. He slowed down. I don't know what happened there, but I think he might have just been planning that move, and he's lost contact with Benny Simonson on the back straight, and he's under attack from Nicholas Vaughan Robert now.
3 corners to go. Here comes Vaughan Roberts on the outside of Lee Hughes for second place. That means that Benny Simonson is going to win the race. But here they come, side by side. Vaughan Roberts on the outside. He's going to hold it there this time. He's definitely not going to give it up. Who is it going to be? Lee Hughes has the inside for the hairpin, but Vaughan Roberts is going to be clear. Is Lee Hughes going to dive it back up in the inside? He is. Vaughan Roberts on the outside. Who's going to have the momentum? Benny Simonson is holding the lead though. He is going to win at Long Beach and the championship. Vaughan Roberts comes through on Lee Hughes. He is going to be in second position. Lee Hughes is dropping down to third, and what a race to the flag there in the final race of the season. Anthony Cat 8 seconds back is going to come home in 4th, with Sam T. Spinell in 5th place. But what a drive from Benny Simonson, and what a way to end the season, to crown the championship with another win, as Peter Cohen and John Edwards are going at it further back there for 6th and 7th for the last battle that we have on track. Pretty much all the other cars are spread out, but the battle here is pretty much over, so Cohen is going to get this position from John Edwards. But these guys started 23rd and 21st, going to finish 6th and 7th, so that is an outstanding performance from both these guys. And this is Benny Simonson's 5th win of the season, his 3rd straight. He won Mosport, he won Donington, and he wins here at Long Beach, so it's absolutely a worthy champion that we crown here today.
Yeah, absolutely, as George Matter comes across the line to finish in 13th. But yeah, it's another great performance and drive from Benny Simonson, proving why he deserved to take the championship this season. And I think he didn't get it his own way, but he still held on to take the win, as Neil Andrews is under attack and just about to lose 17th place as they head up to the line now. And I think he might just hold on for it. Oh, as he gets so close, and I think he might have just lost
Andrews
it position to the line. Yeah.
No, sorry. Phil McDougall got it. He passed him right at the finish line with no nose. Phil McDougall somehow snatches 16th place away from Neil Andrews, but they both look super happy, doing wobblies and crashes into the wall there, so they're both happy. The season is over. They both ended on a high note with a nice little battle. So we have the full post-race results. Benny Simonson comes home with the win just over half a second ahead of One Roberts, with Leah Hughes in third. Anthony Catt with a very quiet race in fourth, and Sam T. Spinell in fifth. Peter Cohen in sixth place, John Edwards in seventh, Daniel Tufts in eighth, Neil McGinty in ninth, and Christopher Miles round out the top 10, 51 seconds behind the winner. That is a massive margin for this series. Clark Williams in 11th, Dave Kirkman in 12th, George Mattock in 13th, Dave Dowson 14th, Simon Edwards recovers from that jump start to finish 15th, Phil McDougall in 16th from the very last starting spot, and then Neil Andrews in 17th is the final car on the lead lap. Then we have Seth Brown, Andrew Bernowski and Edward Lack to round out the top 20. The rest of the result is up on your screen, and despite all those crashes, there were only 4 cars that did not make it to the finish.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive that some little drivers had issues. Basically, I thought Long Beach would have claimed a lot more drivers, but hey, only 4 cars retired from the race. It's still pretty impressive, and they just prove that Monday Night Skippys is always good when it comes to racing, and the driving standards are pretty good as well. Yeah, you still get the odd incident from time to time, but you get that in any racing.
And one thing we saw on screen there on the post-race results that we cannot ignore, Nicholas Von Roberts on the second to last lap, when he had to give it everything, he set the fastest lap of the race by almost a 4/10 of a second margin, which put him in a position to make that move on Lee Hughes on the final lap. So Nicholas Von Roberts, what a performance he did. I at least counted him out there with 2 laps to go, but he just put the foot down and did everything that he had to do to catch back up to Lee Hughes, and he got that position at the end. So amazing drive from Nicholas Von Roberts to capture that position. So let's see
absolutely.
If we have any interviews. We do not yet.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Nicholas Von Robert was giving it everything there in the final couple of laps to get back in contact with Simonson and Hughes, and it was a bit of a brave move by Leah Hughes into the hairpin. I thought both of them were going to run each other off, but just left each other enough room to make it round and make it to the finish line.
So, time for post-race interviews starting today with Andrew Baranowski. You had a very, very eventful day. Qualified 22nd, climbed up the field, and then a couple of incidents, and come home in 19th. Talk us through everything that you went through today, Andrew.
Good evening, guys. Bit of a tough one for me this evening. I didn't do enough practice is the long and short of it, and came in. Turns out that Long Beach is a particularly graphically intensive track. Struggled a bit with frame rate issues. Started down the field, there was a car park at the end of the first lap. Managed to work my way all the way up to the back end of the top 10, and then just followed another driver into a mistake in one of the corners and took my front wheel off. So close yet so far from a reasonable result.
Yes, I see a replay here of you getting absolutely slammed into the wall. It looked like it was pretty hectic back there in the traffic. Cars going left, right and centre all the time, and then when you come up to a roadblock like that, what's your initial thought? Like, you got absolutely nowhere to go, but what do you do?
You just gotta either pick a direction if you've got time and commit to it, or if you're smart and you see it coming, try and hold back. I had a couple of moments where I managed to predict something that was happening in front of me, but Long Beach is not my favourite track, and I think a lot of the people on the grid might say that after this evening. But what can you do? You got to race to the conditions, don't you?
I definitely do. Still, good job to bring the car home in almost one piece anyway. So, anybody you want to send a shout out to as the season draws to a close?
Yeah, shout out to Seth as usual, and shout out to Adam Miles, who I think was the car behind me in that incident, who followed me into that wreck, and I'm pretty sure I saw him on his roof. So I'm very sorry for that, Adam.
Well, thank you for joining us, and hope that we might see you again next season. Next up, we have George Mattock with Ryan.
Yep, George finished in, and let me have a quick look. He finished in just outside the top 10 in 13th place, and George, that was a decent race for you. You started in 12th and only finished one position back from that. But how was that race for you, and what did you think of Long Beach with this Skip Barber?
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, it was interesting. I'm guessing you saw the carnage that happened at the hairpin, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's incredibly frustrating because I was actually catching on Benny and Poe at the front. But yeah, interesting. If you goes on the cameras, then it would be quite funny to look at my gyro cam, because my steering input was what was that, about 60 degrees to the right. Since that crash, I went into the pits, repairs, and it was still a little bit bent. But yeah, it was. I stayed out with that damage, so I'm very happy to finish 13th. Like, finishing alone is just ridiculous. I thought Dave and Simon were going to catch me, and it wasn't that close at the end. But yeah, a positive first 3 laps until that chaos. Just a shame I couldn't really do anything, couldn't go anywhere, and that's the nature of this circuit, unfortunately.
Yeah, we saw that during the race as well, that basically as soon as someone else in front of you had issues, no one else had it, or everyone else had nowhere where to go. It's just the nature of that hairpin because it's so tight. But apart from that, 13th is still a good result. And overall this season, how do you think it's went for you?
Season's been, yeah, very positive actually. I missed the first 2 races. I can't remember what the first 2 races were, but I missed them. And I only found out about it about 3 days before Suzuka, which was my first race. So looking at the championship with another 2 races, I probably would have gotten the top 10 in my first ever season. So I finished 11th. I was 20 points behind Will in 10th and 6th in front of Nathan. So I'd say 11th in my first ever proper series that I've competed in is well. It's doing well. Obviously can be better. Like today, maybe I could have got 4th or 5th. But yeah, overall, it's got to be positive, but going to need to try and get quicker for next season, definitely.
And quickly looking ahead to next season as well, what's the aims? Are you hoping, or are you planning to return to the Monday Night Skippies for next season?
Of course, can't not return to Monday Night Skippies now. I've bought into it now, so yeah, I don't think that the season has been released yet. I think it's tomorrow it comes out, so I have to see what tracks are going to be on the calendar. I'm hearing Hockenheim possibly could be there, which would be very nice. But yeah, I'll be around next season. Just need to improve my pace and maybe improve my equipment a little bit. I've been having some problems during the week. I had a race where I was sat on the front row with 10 seconds to go, and I heard a little disconnected and Windows noise, and my pedals decide to just sort of not work with 10 seconds to go. So maybe I need to improve my equipment a little bit. But yeah, I'll be around next season.
And before we let you go, George, anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Of course, the shout out goes first and foremost to you guys for doing it every week. I know how much effort goes into doing a live stream with the cameras, the liveries, and let alone the commentary itself as well. There's so much work that goes into it. So shout out to everyone there, you guys, and shout out to Alan for hosting the league, and yeah, shout out to Nathan for a tough battle across the whole season. He was my closest competitor. We both started at the same race. And had some misfortune across the season, but yeah, just finished in front of him, so that's a win in my view.
Great to hear, and yeah, again, congratulations on the 13th place, George, and look forward to seeing you back on the Monday Night Skippies grid next season.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Ryan. Next up we have Simon Edwards, qualified 4th place here today, and it looked like you were going to have a great just before the lights went out. For some reason you decided to move. What happened?
I had a technical failure. All my USB devices decided to turn off and on again. So I was under no control as I shot off on the line. I had no sound, no force feedback, nothing. But then it all just came back, and I had my foot solid on the brake, so the car just stopped. But then I had a massive stop-go penalty of 27 seconds. Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah, sounds like that could have ended the day for Lee Hughes as well, had you not been able to stop the car, because you were heading straight for his gearbox there, so guess he can consider himself lucky, but still. Must have made for quite an interesting race for you, having to come back up through the field with all the carnage that was going on.
Yeah, I was so far back, I didn't get really near anybody of pace, apart from George and Dave towards the end, but I didn't even get to them. So it was a little bit boring, and I did knock somebody off at the last hairpin and broke my own car a bit as well. So, but yeah, I was lucky, and because the wheel had reset, I was in safe mode on the force feed. I've got a direct drive force feedback wheel, so it was in safe mode. So it just felt alien, completely alien as well. So I didn't really have any pace.
Well, third place still in the championship. How do you look back at the season as a whole? One win, probably not what you had hoped for. A couple of third place finishes, but still, you're happy with the season as a whole?
Yeah, I've still enjoyed the season. I'm going to try next season to win more. Would be nice, wouldn't it? I think Benny might be trying to stop me doing that though, and clear and so on. But I think it's a reasonably good track selection next season, so hopefully it'll come in my favour a bit more.
Definitely. So, anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you
go? Shout out to my sponsor as usual, Master Naught, and I'll shout out you guys again for the great coverage that you give.
Thank you for that, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, Simon. So last but not least, we have Ryan with Nathan Wade.
Yeah, Nathan was he actually qualified 10th on the grid, which was a great qualifying for him, and had a decent start by the looks of it, but Nathan, it all seemed to literally fall to pieces during the race. So he ended up finishing 21st in the end. What happened?
Hi guys. Yeah, it was pretty tragic from my part, to be honest. I had a small incident on lap 3, I believe, going into turn 1. I can't remember who was behind me, but someone was behind me, and I was literally looking in my mirror, checking they weren't going to send it on me. Didn't even see, I believe it was Tony Stack coming out of the pit lane. I didn't even see him, and I clipped him on the exit of turn 1. So I think I got a little bit of damage there. But the real problem of that race was definitely that hairpin incident. On laps 5 or lap 6, and I wanted to pit straight away, but obviously the pit lane is so close on the exit. I didn't even realise until I'd driven past it that I'd gone past the pit lane, obviously. And then as I went down that straight, my front left wheel came off. So annoyingly, I had to tow all the way back to the pits, and then yeah, it was just like a practice session, to be honest. I didn't really see anyone. I just kind of drove around and did like 10 laps, so yeah, it's a pretty boring race on my half.
And did it, with regards to the season as well, now that it's over, how do you think it's gone for you? Do you think it went as well as expected, or do you think there was anything you could have done better? And also looking ahead to next season, planning to be back, and if so, what's the aims?
Yeah, I think the season's gone really well for me. Obviously, because it's the first time I've been driving the Skippys. I'm happy getting, I believe it was 12th in the championship. I'm a little bit gutted that I'm 6 points or whatever behind George, because he's my main rival, of course. So I'm a little bit disappointed that the last few races have gone quite badly for me, and it's caught up, but it's what it is. I am definitely looking forward to next season, because I'm slowly getting quicker and feeling more confident with the car. So yeah, I'm excited for next season.
And with Long Beach as well, is that a track that you think suits the Skippy, or is that a track that you think it's not really a good combination? I
actually loved the track, to be fair. I thought it was a really good track. I'm just a bit disappointed, obviously, that I didn't get to show my pace tonight. But it's what it is. But it's a really good track, definitely.
Good stuff. And before we let you go, Nathan, anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Obviously, you guys for running the stream as always. You do a great job, so thanks for that. And of course, Alan for running the league. And probably George, actually. Just because he's given me a tough battle throughout the season. We've had some close finishes together, and it's nice to be next to each other in the championship. So yeah, look forward to next season though.
Good stuff. And yeah, again, not the result you wanted to round out the season, Nathan, but nevertheless, well done on that. A good first season in the league. We look forward to seeing you on the track next season.
Yeah, cheers guys.
So thank you to all our interviewees joining us here for the final round. It's been a quite exciting season, even though the championship was over, coming into the final round for the first time in quite a bit. But still some exciting races, and massive congratulations once again to Benny Simonson on the championship, and 3 straight victories to finish it out. Next week obviously is an off week since it's iRacing week 13, but the week after that we are back with another season of the UK&I Monday Night Skippys here on RaceSpotTV, as always in support of the Calm Zone. So I hope you will be back to join us then. Until then, take care everybody, stay safe, and don't do anything stupid. See you then, goodbye.